Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we have the rap bohemian whose highly educated rap style took us on a bizarre ride in the 90s, the man who when he dreams of fairy tales he thinks of him and Shelley, an artist who let the bullshit blow in the breeze, in other words, just a breeze, the guy who told you that you ain't amphibious, so grab a hold of yourself and never let you forget that your mama's got an afro with a chin strap. A founding member of the Pharcyde, we got Slimkid3 in the house right now, man. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm glad to be a part of your podcast, man.
Oh man, no, thank you for coming on. It's an honor, man. It's an honor to have someone like yourself who shaped the way I was brought up over here in the UK, and just to see where you're at, man. Just to see where you're at.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, absolutely.
Wicked, man. So let's kick off with the usual question I ask everyone who comes on. Trey, man, what's the least hip hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours?
The least hip hop thing that I've done?
Yeah.
Oh man, cook breakfast.
Cook breakfast. Okay. What was for breakfast?
Well, I think I cook waffles and stuff sometimes I keep it simple, or usually I make a breakfast that's like kind of too big, but I have all my kids, so I gotta like kind of parenting is very not hip hop.
It's a numerous times we've had either cooking or parenting.
Yeah.
And as a parent, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Absolutely. Yeah. How are you and the family dealing with the lockdown and all that over there? How's it all going, man?
I mean, in the beginning, it was, really, really scary. And from time to time, you have a lot of different, feelings and anxiety that go on because you're worried about yourself, or you're worried about, the livelihood of your family and your kids, and you don't want them to go through suffer in any kind of way. Being a parent is really kind of can be mentally trying because you're looking out for them like 24/7, and you fear for everything. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That said, when things get a little too heavy, there's nothing that you find that there's nothing that you can do about it except to live each day, get up and do your best for that day. And so once I got into that mind state, it made it a lot better. And then we have a lot of supportive neighbors in our community as well. So pretty much everything it's cool right now because we're learning how to, kind of keep things very simplified and not look too far into the future and not worry about the moments that you're in. And I have a 2-year-old, so when they wake up, they're just like, "Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom." Brother and sister, and their little friends, and they don't have time for any world politics, problems, nothing. I mean, it's just not in their system. So you have to take your head out of that too, so you can be present to help them to enjoy the little things in life, like seeing
Absolutely.
a little frog, or seeing a little lizard, or fly in the window, like building a little playhouse. Everything simple and basic, but it's good therapy for your mental state, and that's important during these times right now too. Is like keeping yourself in a good balanced place.
Yeah, so many things you've said there. It's nice to hear someone else say the same things, because that's pretty much what my lockdown has been like, where you said there about having a community around you.
Yeah.
I've realised support networks are huge. I've also realised, because I have he just turned 3, my little lad.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I find myself regressing, but I feel like it's regressing, but it's not regressing, as in like, oh wow, I'm finding pleasures. Like you said there about lizards, like my lad, he just can't, he loves like bugs in the garden and stuff. And I think, wow, I've been watching this snail crawl for like an hour.
Right.
But it eases and there was a real anxiety in our household when it first started. And the thing that you said there, though, what really has helped in our household, I wonder, is music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's crucial every day. Like having that release to do that has been amazing. And in my research and stuff, obviously I have YouTube on the TV, so the Pharcyde are on.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. And you know what? It feels good. It feels like, I'm glad that my family generally are getting to experience this alleviation of stress with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's nice, man. But Talking about the music though, Trey, I'll start from the top with you. Why hip hop? Why rap? What was it about this culture genre that you got that you didn't have before?
Well, I kind of definitely was brought into hip hop from a friend, my friend Sean Margula, who was very into hip hop. But I used to
Mm.
listen to a lot of new wave music back in the day.
Mm.
The Cure, B-52s,
Mm.
Duran Duran. I had a different palette, a lot of ska
Yeah.
stuff, some punk rock stuff as well.
Mm.
But when I was brought into the hip hop fold, it spoke to me. I was a break dancer
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and pop locker and stuff back in the day. So that music, before hip hop was kind of like the techno music, Tour de France and
Mm.
R9 and Kano, a lot of different stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Egyptian Lover, Dr. Dre back in the day. You know what I mean? All of that stuff was
Mm.
stuff that we would break dance to. And so when the hip hop side of it really came along, it was kind of just like a different little shirt that you put on to rock when you go outside.
Yeah.
But it was something that just had my name written all over it. Run DMC, Fat Boys back in the times. LL Cool J
Yeah.
was the one that really kind of LL Cool J and BDP at the time really set it off for me
Mm.
as a hip hopper.
Yeah, yeah. So what was it about the LL or BDP that struck out that you couldn't get in, let's say Fishbone or like you said there about electro and stuff like that? Was it more the lyrics that hit home, or was it the messaging, or?
Yeah, yeah, and KRS-One, just it was something about his presence,
Mm.
and just like the things that South Bronx, South Bronx,
Mm.
it
Yeah,
was it
yeah,
was it
yeah.
was amazing. That's that whole sound, and the breaks that the James Brown breaks that was up under it,
Mm.
and then when you dove in a little bit further to because I think there was a lot of battling going on back down there. BDP and Marley Marl's crew against
Mm.
each other, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is like we were just listening to the music more so than understanding that there was an actual battle or beef going on. And then as you listen to LL Cool J, and then because he was amazing, and then you
Mm.
had those that were kind of like coming out like Kumo D, and there was always like the LL Cool J Kumo D battle, and
Yeah.
what was hardcore rap and different things like that. And the bar was really high as
Mm.
a rap or hip hop, rap really. And to try to get into that business, it was almost untouchable. Like you had
Yeah.
to, you couldn't just be anybody saying anything to try to get into the rap world. There was
Yeah.
MC Light and Queen Latifah. It was a lot going
Mm.
on. Hip hop was like coming through really strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if hip hop was very strong. Well, let me
Mm.
go back a little bit more. There was like The Message, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5,
Grandmaster Flash. Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. It was just a lot of content out there. Rakim, and I'm
Mm.
trying to name as many as I can because if you listen from one end of hip hop, there's a time where lyrically you can hear it shaped from almost like elementary school rhyming to intelligent rhyming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where BDP came in to set it, for me to set it off a little bit. And then as I dove in more, there was more story to the whole deal.
Yeah.
Yo Yvette from LL Cool J was a story about a wild kind of girl in the high school and
Mm.
stuff, and that's stuff that we could relate to because we were in high school back then and junior high school and
Mm.
all of that. But you get to hear like an actual story from begin to end of something of a happening.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And then when you got into Rakim, he was like, letting knowledge out, like some super knowledge out, and you had to, really get it. And then Big Daddy Kane was just like, man, it was the
Yeah.
bar was really high. So I didn't think I didn't think I could be a rapper at all. I wasn't even thinking about being a rapper. I was enjoying what I was hearing, going to the parties and the clubs, and as a battle dancer
Mm.
with Imani and my homeboy Kai and my boy Thomas. We would just
Yeah. Is this 2 for 2? Is this 2
no.
for 2?
This was before but 2 for 2. It was a continuum. So like Romai and Robert Vincent, and there was more than so. 2 for 2 was 2 for 2 was an amazing group that was born out of other groups. There was a group called GTI, Groove to Impress, that was a part of our South Central unit where we learned to like make music and, music production and stuff like that. But GTI was a dance crew that was just untouchable. And it was comprised of Romai. I think Imani was in there as well. My friend Miguel and Brent and these guys, oh my God. To watch them on stage doing their shows and just crushing other folks. And so we were all we all rolled together. So we was all a part of that. We was that crew. We weren't taking no shorts, you know what I mean? We was kicking ass and taking names, that's just how that's how it was back then. There was Soul Brothers was also another dance crew that Black Eyed Peas was also dancers that was around, that was in the circle with us as well. You know what I mean? So it was about just going to it was like a dance cipher. And then those dance ciphers turned into rap ciphers later down the line. But during the dance cipher time, that's how we ate. You know what I mean? Because like we would, dance in different hip hop videos or different R&B videos and stuff like that. And whoever got the check, that's who was buying food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is why we were like kind of, GTI, the singing group, they were great, great singing group. And then there was Shy. I'm naming a bunch of things, but it all comes together. So Shy was a female singing group that turned into Jazzy Fat Nasties that worked with the Roots. And Jazzy Fat Nasties is one of the singers was the sister of Jay Swift, who produced all of us. He produced Pharcyde when we were 2 for 2. He produced GTI. He produced Shy. And this was our upcoming. And I was brought to Jay Swift through another friend in college named Robert Tillis, also known as The Rhythm. If you were to Google it, you would see me dancing behind him in his video. So you see, it's like a large tangle of things, but it all came out through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, like unfolding, but that was the path.
Yeah, and then your bridge from the expression of like dance being the way you want to express yourself and battling being a different type of dance. What was that extension to you doing that to thinking, do you know what, I want to write and express myself through written word?
Well, I started writing for Robert Tillis. I used to just write poetry. I would just stay up all night writing poetry and stuff like that. I'd be at my grandma's house with a candle lit, just writing. I would write till I fell asleep.
Where's that come from for you, Trey?
I don't know, man. It was so crazy. Like I remember being in English class in college, and my teacher, she would, we turn in our papers, and she would grade them and bring them back, and she was like, "Yo, you're a really amazing writer." And I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Okay." Wow. I was like, "I guess." You know what I mean? Because first off, I wasn't thinking about like being a MC or anything. I was, in my mind, I was on my way to be a fighter pilot. I was, I was in ROTC in high school, and I was going from high school to college, and then college I was going to go to the military.
So you had a plan?
Yeah, I was going to get in those planes, and like, I would draw planes. I would, that's what I wanted to do. And now I got the plane. Wow. I got the planes part, but it's me traveling in the planes and not flying the planes, but traveling the world in the planes, but not flying them, so, which is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, this your boy Foul March, and right now, you are rocking live with the Crate 808 podcast. Enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. Peace.
So what was it about that? Sorry to deter from the writing, but the military's quite a a focused and quite narrow like skill set, like as in not skill set, but you know what I mean, like, you know, you have control, there's a lot of restriction, I
Yeah,
would think,
like
whereas that is completely not Pharcyde or yourself or anything you've done. I'm trying to put the two together. It's quite interesting dichotomy, do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I guess that just brings me to, you know, my focus was definitely to fly planes and get my degree. And I was a psychology major, electronics minor, you know, so I had my route and I had my focus because I was highly interested in it. I would dance battle to pay for my school.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
and so I remember I missed like one too many days because I was in this dance movie. I got the part, so it took 6 days, and in the teacher we weren't allowed to miss more than 6 days, and so I missed 6 days exactly. And the teacher, she said that I had to petition to get back in her class, and I'm like, you know what, fuck you. And I it really knocked me off of, because I was I was, you know, I was getting great grades, you know, and I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that was a fault of hers. It's like, you look at a student trying, you get behind them and you encourage them, but she didn't do that. She's like, what the fuck am I supposed to petition for you for? Like, I don't give a fuck about petitioning for you. Like, I'm putting myself through school. My mom, we couldn't afford to put me through school. I had to do it myself. I worked at a grocery store. I danced on the, you know, on the side, you know, doing hip hop videos or whatever. I was putting myself through school, you know. And so I fell down pretty hard, and I tried again to go back to school the next year, and I just didn't even have the momentum. So that really took the focus off.
Yeah.
And so just hanging out with Robert Tillis and writing for him, he had introduced me to Jay Swift and Pedro, Jay Swift's brother, and Mercedes, and ultimately Reggie Andrews, who was our manager at the time. And I just put all of my focus into that. I did it well. I was able to do choreography for Jazzy Fat Nasty's crew, and learned how to do music production and produce songs. And I wrote songs for the girls as well. And I became a really good songwriter. You know, I just kind of put all of my focus there. And then we had to dive into being a group as 2 for 2 and becoming the Pharcyde, and going through a lot of just getting turned down by labels. And, you know, it's just all these, like, they seemed like failures at the time, but, you know, that's just how it was. The bar was extremely high to get in the rap game, and you had to be the next thing, and you had to have that different thing or whatever without sounding contrived. And it wasn't until we said, you know what, fuck all of these record labels. Soon as I feel like the day we said that and the day that we did that is when the whole tide shifted for us, because now they started chasing us and we just didn't give a fuck. We really didn't. We really, really fucking just didn't. We found who we were and we just laughed, and, you know, we didn't have money, and it was cool, and everything was just cool. And so, you know, next thing you know, we got like record labels, you know, they got wind of our song, Passing Me By, and Your Mama, and Officer, and Paul Stewart came into the fold. Paul Stewart, he was a part of, like, you know, Ice Cube stuff, and Montel Jordan, and just a lot of different big things. Coolio and signing us, you know, the whole deal. So he was, you know, somebody that started shopping our music. And first dinner that we had was with Matt Jones from Motown. And he was like, look, man, I'm really interested in you guys. I want to get you guys out there and stuff like that. And we were like, yo, cool. It's like, you know, I want to take you guys to dinner. And we were like, dinner? Yeah, let's go, because I'm hungry. You know, it wasn't about Motown. It wasn't about the money. It was like, dinner? Yeah, let's go eat.
Do you remember what you had? Do you remember what you had at that dinner?
I fucking don't know, because the next meeting was Def Jam, and then it was just so many, and all we were like, dinner. Our whole thought was, yeah, let's go get some more food. And so it was good for us to be in that headspace, because we were, you know, no matter how big the amount of money that was offered, we were still at a place that we didn't really care. And being in that space, we were able to look at the things that Reggie Andrews taught us and lay everything out and see things for what they were. We knew that if we went with a certain label, there's a chance that we could get put on the shelf and never come out because of their scheduling, you know, of their the artists that the main artists that they had to, they just have their shit. They have their quota. They have their things that they have to do. And so we were able to, we were like, okay, this one's giving us like, a lot of money, but that one gives us creative control. So we're like, all right, cool. Why don't we get the creative control? It's at a smaller boutique label. We were able to be ourselves, and that's what we did. We chose Delicious Vinyl, and we were able to get on their Heavy Rhyme Experience album with all these heavy hitters, and be on be label mates with Brand New Heavies and Tone Loc and Young MC, and we were in California. It was, the label was in Hollywood on Sunset, and we were home. We were able to dive in and really become us, and it sounded weird because every time when we finished our music, we were like, damn, it doesn't really sound like what we wanted it to. Our target, which was like trying to sound like the East Coast sound somehow, you know what I mean? And because that's what we, like the hip hop on the West Coast was West Coast sound. It was, almost like kind of gangster rap a little bit. And that wasn't us, you know what I mean? But there was gangster rap that we respected and we loved, you know what I mean? But we weren't gangsters, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because that's an interesting thing for me, where you guys were the first kind of acts that from the West Coast that was very different to my general rotation.
Yeah.
Before, rewind a little bit before you even got signed, and you said you got noticed with Passing Me By. Do you remember there being like a light bulb moment of, oh wow, this is how we should do it? What was that about? Like the Passing Me By stage, basically.
Well, what's really crazy is Imani, Romai, and Fatlip went to San Francisco to the Gavin convention, and they met up with Razkaz. I think Razkaz was the person that brought our crew to Paul Stewart, and so they were there and they were freestyling in a hotel room and this whole deal. And I was back home because I was like kind of like in the streets doing dirt and shit like that, you know what I mean? So when they came home and they were like, yo, we got this situation, and I was like, what? It just kind of fell into place, kind of happened. Because I think the song that got the attention of Paul Stewart was the song called Your Mama, because it was so funny and quirky and shit, and nobody was really bagging. Nobody was really bagging on records. So that was like that was our first single. So that was our way out. Yeah. And, Pass Me By was the second single, which was the Mike Tyson punch, and that just, propelled us through.
That was iconic, man. The Bizarre Ride album, just so I can tell you, because I have you on now, so that was 92, right? That came out. Yeah. But I got it very, very late. I think I got it around 96 because of the age difference and UK and just being on my own, kind of finding it all on my own. All this kind of music I found on my own until I got a bit older and got a bit of a hip hop community around me. Yeah. But as a kid, I remember just hearing it was referenced loads in The Source and Hip Hop Connection and stuff like that here. And it just being one of them that I thought, I need to get this. And eventually when I got it, I just remember not switching it off because it was the energy, man. The energy on that record. Yeah. It really, I don't know what it was. I just hadn't heard that before. Yeah. Could you give me like a sneak peek into the chemistry for you guys on that time? Like, what did that feel like when you were going in to record and stuff like that?
Okay, well, so the energy of, I'll say the energy of the Pharcyde was a mixture of Los Angeles. There wasn't just Pharcyde folks there. There was Freestyle Fellowship was in the mix. The Wascals was in the mix with us. There was, like you name it, like Project Blowed folks. We were all like this hip hop family. We all spun off from the same core, it seemed,
Because you called Pharcyde an energy.
Yeah.
I saw that you said that.
No, it is. It calls for itself all the time. Like I can run as far as I want. I can take a rocket as far as I want and still cannot escape the energy of Pharcyde because it was my calling. It's a part of me. You know what I mean? It's and I'm grateful, so.
Yeah, things just kind of fall into place sometimes. And I think I found that album at the right time. I don't know what it was for you at the time when you recorded it, but I remember there being a lot of hardcore music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hardcore rap was like blowing up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like, do you think that helped or hindered the record at that time?
Well, I think we were so much in our own groove that we weren't thinking about the other parts. You know what I mean? We didn't really have time to think about those things because we were so focused on either learning equipment or being in the zone of where we were, or being at these different parties.
Yeah.
The Bizarre Ride album was being born by our actions of where we were at. We were like a sponge running around the world, and just different things going on that we absorbed. And when we inhaled the world and we exhaled it onto the 2-inch reel, that's what was going on during the time. So it was kind of, and we were still going to the dance parties as battle dancers, and because that's who we were.
Wow.
So the music, like I DJ now, and I DJ as if I was a battle dancer on the dance floor, because I know exactly what triggered me to get out on the dance floor and do what it is that we needed to do. So I kind of, I DJ aggressively the same. You know what I mean? So, and that's just for me. I was just immersed in making sure these records got done and got completed, because like we were like J Swift was there, LAJ was there. They were the two like kind of head producers, or the better producers, because they was already in the record industry doing things. And they were kind of like our mini mentors, basically, because like they taught us kind of everything that we knew. So we were all like either programming beats or learning from our engineers at the time, how to EQ different things. Or we would be at Hollywood Sound, just like around the clock. We were at, and if we weren't recording, we were at the pool table. If we weren't at the pool table, we were ordering food. But it was everything was about emceeing, rapping, and dancing. You know what I'm saying?
That's mad. It's a beautiful thing, man, to hear. Because if you think about how that resonated outwards and rippled across the world to my bedroom over here in England, and you think like, that's the beauty of art, man. It doesn't, once you make it and it goes out into the world, it's kind of like,
oh yeah,
it's just out there now.
Yeah, it's just out there. Yeah.
And I love that about this. And I think that's really crystallized. I mean, the whole album's a classic. But if we could talk about Passing Me By, because I remember at the time that video as well. And I mean, that horn sample, the breakdowns in it, it's just a classic song. It kind of transcends rap in the fact that everyone knows that track.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you guys even make it? Where was the inspiration from? If you could talk to me about that journey to making that track itself. How was that?
Okay, well, from what I remember, we were at SCU, and during the time, like J Swift was the main, producer, but him and Romai would always go into Reggie's garage and dig through his records all the time. So Pass Me By was 2 songs combined into make 1 song.
Okay.
And it's kind of, it's like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
We fucked around and made a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know what I mean? It's delicious. And, people like it to this day, it's just what it was. And I was like really, we were really fortunate for that, but that's not the only song. There was other songs that were 2 songs that were combined together as well. But Pass Me By was super magic on its own. Like just the loop itself, we would have the loop playing over and over and over again for hours as we walked around. Wow. Either we were riding in the dance studio side, but the doors were open so we can hear the music and the loop going as we like kind of ruminate ideas. During the day, like during the traffic hour, we would all sit outside and watch the girls go by driving in their cars, because there was tons of traffic and there's nowhere that nobody could go, because there was just this one lane that went from La Cienega on to the 405 freeway. And so all we were doing is like sitting on the lawn watching, the cars go by, with the girls in it, And so hence, She Keeps Passing Me By. And I think that was something that, said, like, yeah, we should call it She Keeps Passing Me By. And it's just all clicked. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Because that's just how we were living. You know what I mean? And so we would just go and, we write our experience of what that meant, And so it translated further than just, us sitting on the lawn watching the girls in traffic go by. But it was just like, across the board, where we're at the club or anywhere in life, and it was just like, it was the common man type thing. Every man went through, like, girls aren't easy.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is DJ Premier, and you're checking out the Crates 808 podcast. I put an S on it because there's more than one record in the crate, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we dig, that's how we play, and that's what real DJs do. You heard? That's why it goes down. We out here.
And this is the difference between a hardcore act like Mobb Deep or Woo hitting me across the head on Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
And then Yo MTV Raps puts your track on right after, and I relate to it in a completely different level. And that's the beauty of rap, man. I was like, wow, I'm getting all of it right now. The video for Passing Me By, and there's a few videos for you guys that have made just iconic status. But with the video on Passing Me By and the upside down theme and all that, whose idea was that? Like, did you guys like run with that?
Well, a friend of ours who grew up in the dance scene with us became a director, and his name was Sanji. And Sanji, you know, like we had so we learned our first lesson in video making from our first video, which was Your Mama. And we had, you know, we read a lot of treatments, and, you know, the treatments are like great on paper, but let's see if you can pull the shit off, right? So Your Mama video, this guy, he thought that he could just tell us what to do and what we were going to do because he was this hot director or whatever. And so, you know, there are ideas that we wanted to put in too, but he like kind of blew over those things. And we were just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're not really listening to us, and you're spending our fucking money. And I just kind of lost my shit. You know what I mean? Fuck this guy, fuck his video. This shit is whack, whatever. So, you know, because that's just how we were, you know, like we didn't give a fuck who you were. We didn't give a fuck how popular you were. It's like, what does the beat say? Is the beat dope? Or is it not dope? I don't give a fuck who made it, you know? And that's our attitude for it. And so the same with the videos. It's like, okay. And he was really just trying to, he's doing it his way, and he didn't want to like our input.
Yeah.
And because we had some really good ideas. It's like, but, you know, in his defense, I really, you know, as a director myself and directing the video, like, wow, it takes a lot of time to do all this stuff, and you have to have it pre-planned. Like there has to be a plan, and there's things I learned over time, but ultimately I was like, you know what, fuck that dude, I don't give a fuck him. You know, and we all thought that way, because we were like, you're spending our fucking money and try to shit on us, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. And so we needed to learn that lesson, because when we were looking forward, we knew how to deal with future things. So here in walks the Passing Me By treatments and things like that. And then here comes Sanji with his idea. He's like, hey guys, what if we did a video upside down in black and white? And so we're very artsy, very visual oriented. So we could, you know, black and white is like a beautiful fucking color. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It tells a lot. Oh my God, I love black and white to this day. Just photography, I'm just into it, you know? And so we got all these beautiful, dope shots and stuff like that. And we got all these ideas. And then it came down to editing. And we looked at it back and we were like, yo, this shit is dope, but these parts is kind of like whack. And so we wanted to change them. And so there we had like our little conflict with Sanji's idea. You know, we were like kind of stepping on his flowers, so to speak. But yet we needed to make the changes that we did. So we had to make an executive decision to edit some things so that it flowed like we needed it to. And we did. And Sanji, there was parts of Sanji's stuff was there, and there's parts of our stuff was there. And that's the product that that made it, that came out. And so I say all this shit to say that it's not like we had something against this person or that person at the end of the day. It's basically the universe like kind of smacking us around to get what the energy of the Pharcyde needed to convey on our behalf. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. That's how I had to look at it that way. There was so many different emotions and so many different things that we were going through as these songs and videos were being made. Like I was like sitting there, like we were all smoking weed, and I was looking at the video and the edit bay, and I'm looking at my part where I'm like pulling my fingers out of my hair or whatever to rap my verse, and I'm looking at this video. I'm like, man, I am trapped in this picture forever. My energy, my energy is trapped in this thing forever. If I die, like my image does not fade away.
Wow.
Like we've recorded a lot of shit before, but it wasn't until it was on 2-inch reel and being pressed to vinyl, and I'm listening to, I'm rapping my verse, and then I'm listening back, and I'm like, wow, my voice is trapped on this forever. At that moment, I was like, okay, so at that point, we have to be mindful of what we put down.
And that, it's a fascinating thing. If you just extend the argument even outside of hip hop, that little capture of time and moment and energy and passion and everything is essential to humans, because that's how we learn. As in, when you have done that, when you say timeless, it's no off the cuff type of thing. It means like forever, mate. It's forever there.
Forever.
That my kid can see, my kid's kid can see.
Yeah.
And even this, us talking now, is a documentation of some sort, but through art, it's another level.
Yeah.
Through art, it's an expression you can't always put into words, because it's music and words working together, and then visuals working together.
Right.
There's so many things that I think, I mean, not trying to get too deep, but genuinely, like, I feel that with Pharcyde, with your work, with even like just the way you have come across in everything you guys did in yourself, I feel like it's very essential, that spirituality and that kind of ethos, just to look at things a little bit differently. Your whole idea was to look at things differently, the whole record. Even you singing, man. Like, I remember when you were singing the refrain on Passing Me By. You do it on other stuff or throughout the whole album, throughout your whole career. But when I listen to that now, I'm like, wow, that's what everyone does that now. Like, Gunna's just released an album, and I'm like, wow, that is coming from an area that I never really paid too much attention to as a kid. Where do you stand on that? On your different style of rapping and singing and all that?
You know, it was a happening. I was going through a lot of stuff during those times to make me emote Other Fish. It was emotional. It was emotional. Like, so Other Fish that is on record that everyone is hearing is a remix, because that song it was different. It was cool. It was bland. It wasn't bland, but it wasn't Other Fish until it was Other Fish. And that's when LAJ brought in that beat. And I was in, like, it was like the perfect beat. I couldn't wait to like kind of just, rap on it. So I would get in there and I would rap it. I would rap it regular. No singing whatsoever, just rapping it, right? And then it just kind of didn't sound right. And then we took some more takes, and then I was kind of like thinking about the words and the situation, the real situation that actually happened, and different things. And I was just kind of going through my little internal tears, and I just went for it. I mean, it's not that I went for it. I just cried out, basically. You know what I mean? And I just followed that energy. I followed where that energy was going. And that's, it's almost like you're on the staircase and you're stepping up the stairs. And as you step up the stairs, there's little treats at every level of it. And then you look up and there's another staircase and there's more. And so you just keep on walking up them. And that's where, all the way to the fucking tail end of that song. That's a long fucking song.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
It's a long song of just emotional, just going through internal space. And that's why you don't get tired of it.
It's what everyone says now. It's a vibe. That track is. It is. Yeah. You can put that on. It's so vibey and so wavy. And it's like, wow,
you get caught in it.
Yeah, that's it. You get caught in it. Exactly.
Yes, you are rocking with the best. This is the one and only Just Blaze. Right now, you're checking out the Crate 808 podcast. Remember to hit up crate808.com, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Peace.
The whole album kind of is like that for me as well. It's very much of a journey of an album.
Yeah.
When you look at Bizarre Ride now, and I mean, it's been such a long time since it's come out, but it still sounds so fresh. Like, how do you feel about the album, and what imprint do you think it left on the kind of 90s tapestry of hip hop?
I'm glad that I was chosen to be able to do it. I look at myself as the universe or God or Olodumare, whatever people think or believe this higher power is the creator of all things. And I was either the paintbrush or just a color that I was probably the paintbrush that was dipped into different colors. I was just one paintbrush. Like, maybe I was the one that made the big strokes, or maybe I was the one that made the fine detail strokes. Everybody was a different paintbrush, and we all got dipped in it. And it wasn't just the four of us. It was like there was, LAJ, and there was Jay Swift, and there was everyone that we hung out with. There was, the Wascal team. There was all these things, all these energies, the makeup of your project, Tone Loc's crew, we hung out with them so much. They were always there with us, Big Suave, and
Yeah.
everybody was there. And so those are the colors that we were painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's deep, man. I love that analogy.
And it's crazy. Like, we were doing our part, but there were so many massive mini parts to the Pharcyde as a complete thing, to where you have that album. When you hold that album in your hand, there's so many people. There's the art. There's Slick and Den that made the artwork. They sat and listened to our ideas, and we had this thing where, like, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And that came from getting high and shrooming all the time and shit. We're like, what if this?
Yeah.
And then we were like, what if a fire hydrant pissed on a dog? And we laughed our asses off, right? Oh, that would be just crazy. Or what if this? What if there's a roller coaster that went into a vagina? And then came out of the mouth. Oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And so those are the conversations we were having at this art table, and they pulled it off. Slick and Den brought us so many different pieces of art, different characters. Everything. And then there was, there's the radio side of it. There's just so many parts that made the Pharcyde. Pharcyde couldn't be Pharcyde without Delicious Vinyl. Not for Bizarre Rhyme. It was the perfect petri dish for what the fuck spawned from that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it lasted forever. It's still going, bro. It's still going, and it'll still keep going. Every time someone steps into college and picks up that record, it just takes them over.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on going, and I'm just happy to have been chosen for that. And I feel like another record that kind of touched me in that kind of way of the fun that we were having was, De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I could see the lineage.
I feel like there was pivotal points in hip hop. There was Beastie Boys, made hip hop take a shift. Then there was 3 Feet High and Rising, made hip hop take a shift. And then there was like People's Instinctive Travels, made people take a shift. And then it was Bizarre Ride, made people take a shift. And then there was, you can go to Diamond D's album, or you can go to the Low End Theory record, I cannot forget Leaders of the New School. There's different pivotal points in hip hop, and it's just like made you enjoy that candy store like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yo, this shit is chocolate.
It's a big candy store.
Yeah, you're like, damn, niggas, this is chocolate with caramel. Oh, this is Tutti Frutti. Oh, motherfucker, these are jawbreakers. Or like, just hip hop was just everything. Damn, and they sell soda too. You know what I mean?
Man, when you talk about them acts, was there ever a time though that's a Native Tongues movement, the De La Soul movement, the leaders and all that. I could just see that maybe happening with you guys. Was there ever a time you could have collabed with those guys?
Yeah, like we went on tour with the ultimate tour that everybody wanted was when it was us, De La Soul, and Tribe. We were in where were we? We were in Japan. And we were like, yeah, motherfuckers really want this tour in the US, you know what I mean? But we had just did it out there, and it wasn't until that didn't happen until we were at Rock the Bells. I think it was 2008, where we all shared the same tour again like that with other main folks too. You know what I mean? So that was like that was something everybody wanted, and we did work with De La a lot. And Tribe a lot, because Q-Tip was the whole reason why Labcabincalifornia came out the way it did, with putting us together with J Dilla.
Moving on to Labcab, and I mean I want to talk about Dilla, but before I do get into Dilla and Labcab, one thing that was interesting is the journey from Bizarre Ride to about 3 years later or so when Labcab comes out. It's a transformation a little bit, as in you guys got very famous very quickly, it seems.
Yeah.
How did you guys, or yourself, how did you deal with that pressure, and how did it affect the recordings of Labcab when you went in?
I think the beautiful thing about us, it wasn't instant fame. We worked hard as fuck to go gold for that first record for Bizarre Ride. And the work it wasn't hard. I mean, it wasn't like work that we hated. It's work that we loved. We were on the road all the time. We were on the road so much we had to stop being on the road to make Labcabincalifornia. We had to stop it because otherwise we would just keep riding, keep going on that first record. But like I said, we were just sponges in the world collecting data, you know what I mean? Like experiences and stuff like that. I think you need that space and time to absorb new data and things and experiences and concepts. So your record doesn't sound the same. Your first record doesn't sound like your second record, and so on and so forth, because it's like, we already did that. We already said that, and I've written hundreds of songs, so I'm like, I said the same shit. Or, I fall into the same zone of writing sometimes because all of the stuff that, my revolutionary shit, I've written a lot of it. And, I've said a whole lot of things, and I've expressed a whole lot of things. And I remember one time my bandmate was like, people don't want to be teached to or preached to. And I was like, wow, okay, you're right. So, and my sister helped me out too. She's like, sometimes you got to give a little sugar with the medicine. And so like these different things. And I was like, all right, well, let me pull back a little bit because I was kind of going hard on different things and issues and stuff like that because, man, it's like, I believe things should be fair. And, I see it the way I see it. But, everybody's watching, even though you think they're not. I feel like comedians are excellent with this because they're not just like in your face about like, these motherfuckers are fucked up and they're fucking us. But they're like, these guys are fucking us with lube. Yep, they got us chained to the bed, guys. Oh no, we can't escape this dicking. You know what I mean? Like, and that puts a little humor on the fact that you're getting fucked with no lube.
Yeah. And that's the Carlin and the Bill Hicks and
fucking Bill Hicks. I'm glad you said that.
Oh man, let's go. I'm here for the Bill Hicks times Pharcyde chat. Let's go, man.
Oh my God, George Carlin, Bill Hicks. I love that shit.
Yeah, man.
Everybody had their way and their doses. I like Chris Rock.
Oh yeah,
Chris
man.
Rock. There's so many. There's a guy in that I really love. That's UK. He's a UK. His last name is. He was hosting some kind of award ceremony.
Oh, you mean Ricky Gervais?
Yes. Oh my God.
Ricky Gervais is.
He is no fucks and no fucks and going. But the good part about all these things is that we need to hear these truths and we need to hear them. They're there. We need to hear them.
Yeah.
So we don't get kind of complacent with. We need these walls to be broken down so we can, see what things are and then like kind of really get on the best foot possible to move forward.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You need context of what you're living in and your life and people to tell you are the truth twisters or truth tellers. You know what I mean? There's both and you've got to you got to navigate. And I suppose that's what it's to be a dad, right? Or to be a parent.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, what up, y'all? This is Prince Paul, and you're rocking with Crate 808 Podcast. Now, I want you to enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. All right? Peace.
If we go into Labcab, though, if we're talking about Labcab and you guys then going into the studio and making this, it's an amazing album. I love this album. Obviously, the spine of it with you, along the ride with you, was J Dilla.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you guys even started and Tip's involvement, and from there, how did it all go, man?
So when we were producing Labcabincalifornia at our house, like we were working on She Said, we were working on just all the things that we did on our end. And so we had a listening day where we were at the studio and we were just like kind of listening to everything that we produced. And once we got to the end of it all, actually, I don't think She Said was finished during that time. She Said was the last, it was literally the last fucking song that was well fought for and put out. Yeah, trust me, it was a nightmare. But it was it's the most beautiful ending. Kisses the princess and she wakes up and they live happily ever after. That's what fucking She Said was. You know what I mean? for that record, because otherwise it wasn't going to be on that record.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's huge. Man.
That's fucking super huge.
So how was it with Dilla then?
So let me start from, so we, after listening to all of the stuff that we had, we came to a point where we're like, we still don't have it. And so at that point, we were like, let's make some calls. Let's, reach out to Q-Tip and reach out to some our New York folks and, get out there, Diamond D, and just we need to go to New York for a little bit. So we went out to New York for 6 months we were hanging out with Q-Tip, and I was hanging out with my homeboy from the UMCs, and just kind of like getting in the groove of finding what we needed. And Tip was like, yo, I'm working on the Mobb Deep record now, so I don't really have a lot of time to make a bunch of beats and different things, but I got this cat. And so we were at his apartment, and he played the snippet tape for us, and man, oh man, we were like, yes, this is it. The running loop was there. The bullshit loop. Here's the thing about song making. And this takes you all the way back to, remember when I said that we just let the loop run all day long for Passing Me By. And that's the same way we felt for bullshit. It's the same way we felt for Running and Drop. You know what I mean? When you listen to these, just the beat itself, before you put anything else over top of it, it should take you somewhere. Each part of the production should take you somewhere. From listening to the hi-hat and the snare, like just the smallest elements, the kick, snare, hi-hat. What is that doing to you when you just play it raw? And then you add the bass line to it, and then the chords, and you just keep adding on and on. And that should just take you out of your body into the creative scape, and the creative space. And and so that's what these things did, and it really talked to us, and it really sang to us. We when we were in New York, we recorded I think we recorded like 50, 60 songs.
Damn.
It was a lot of shit. We did a lot of shit, bro.
Wow. What was when you're talking there about is it just the energy that you guys had, and then you had someone like Dilla's kind of aura and being and kind of thing? Was it just like seamless, you guys working together?
It was good, man. I mean, we had a lot of time on our own. Dilla came out during the mixing stages,
Right. Okay.
And Dilla was a different energy. Like we were wild, dude. And we saw Dilla as a calm, cool, collective guy.
Yeah.
I was rolling around with Dilla and in my car, a couple of times, and during his time being with us, he saw a lot of shit.
Yeah, but I bet.
Man, if he was alive, he could tell some stories.
Oh man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All of these times were pivotal for him being with us and understanding us as a band, and our ups and our downs and our physical fights. There's a fight almost every other song or so. Like Running wouldn't be running if I didn't fight for it.
Wow.
Running wouldn't be running if somebody didn't get punched.
Oh shit, snap, really?
Yeah, how about that?
Wow, that's incredible. The stories behind that.
As to where Dilla had to come out and say, Dilla was like, look, man, please, you guys don't fight. He was like, you guys are my favorite band. He's like, you can have the song however you want it. And I was like, we're going to have it exactly how you did it. We're not going to chop it no different way. It's going to be exactly the footprint that you laid down. And that's what it was after that.
That's mad, man. That's mad. Collaborative efforts, though, isn't it? This is the thing. Them forces.
Yeah.
Sometimes you butt heads. It's the same thing, man. And you just got to. I think it comes down to trust. A lot of it comes down to trust. A lot of it comes down to faith in your collaborators.
A lot of it comes down to not being fucking selfish and being a piece of shit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's the onus is on the individual for sure. But if you're a group,
absolutely,
you've got to find a resolution, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Otherwise your art never gets kind of fully finished, I'd have thought.
You got to look at your own shit too. Everybody had to face their own issues. It was extremely healthy though.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of lessons you've probably learned from that whole process.
Yeah.
When we look at, I mean, there's so many great records on this. You talk about Running. The subject matter on these as well is just like, again, it resonates to someone who doesn't have to think, like, I don't have to transport very far to get what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
When you were making these this is like legacy music as well. It's not even like it. This is legacy music, as in this is going to go on forever.
Yeah.
Drop, when that came out, that beat, oh my God, yeah, you're right. The Dilla beat, everything about it, all time, one of my favorites. The video for Drop, I would love to hear how that came about with Spike Jonze. And
so Drop wasn't even going to be a single until Spike Jonze was like, I'll do a video for you guys, but I'm only going to do it to this song.
Oh, what? So it wasn't even going to be a single?
No, we didn't know what the next single was fucking going to be. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's a bold thing to say and to do, I'm going to do this one. I'm like, all right, well, what you got? And so he told us what his idea was, and we were like, you got it.
Oh man, was there much change from his initial idea to what actually came out?
The beautiful thing about, working with Spike Jonze is, first off, the idea. He's like, okay, so we're going to film this backward, or we're going to film it, with everything backwards, doing things backwards, and then reverse the film so it looked like it's going forward. So that means we had to learn the lyrics in reverse. We had to talk about what things would look good in reverse. And there's certain edits and cuts that happen that looked better than others. It just didn't make it. You know what I mean? There was the bouncing balls would bounce up the stairs, imagine almost like a sea of red balls bouncing up some stairs,
Oh, wow,
so
yeah.
and we were like, what if we unpaint a painting? And then I was like walking the dog, so I was in the dog suit walking the dog kind of shit,
Yeah,
just all kind of different fucking fuckery. Fuckery was it needed to be classic fuckery that's captured for us to be like, yeah, this is good.
That's the beauty of that though, right? You said it like that, it's fuckery.
Yeah, I mean, just all we need to look, just one more step overboard is what was needed. So let's say the part where we all get wet, and then we're kind of coming out of our clothes, so we needed to get wet, come out of all of our clothes, onto the city streets in our underwear, but we should have just kept going and just onto just nudity, you know what I'm saying? with faces of people that were going to work and had no idea what the fuck was going on. Here you go. These guys, why are these guys in their underwear? So if we just took it one more step, they're like, oh,
wow.
We were the group that were like, oh, you guys took it too far. And actually, not far enough.
Oh man, that's fascinating, man. Definitely. At the time, I remember thinking, God, because that was again quite a big budget videos were out. There were loads of it was really flashy.
Yeah.
And then I remember just seeing that and thinking, a very well executed, genius idea far outweighs all the money you can throw at a video. That's what I remember thinking as a kid.
Yeah. I remember saying our imagination is too expensive.
Oh, I could, yeah.
And technology, because during that time, technology wasn't even at a place where it is right now, where you can really achieve those things that you're thinking and visualizing. You know what I mean? Man, I wish we had the technology we have now back then, because our shit would be just some bananas.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
It's just so much.
I remember when you guys dropped a Beastie Boys cameo in there with Mike D as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the cherry on top. Connecting with them was through Spike Jonze as well. And that's the reason why Spike Jonze wanted to do it. He's like, because it's got, Ad Rock's voice in it. And even before all of this drop video, we had done an interview at Mike D's house with Spike Jonze to begin with for the Grand Royal magazine.
Right. Okay.
So that's how, these are the steps that took us to the drop video. And the steps that take us, take us on even further,
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Did you catch the Beastie Boys documentary at the moment, the one that came out on Apple?
No, I gotta check it out. I didn't watch it.
It's good.
It's on Apple TV.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's on Apple.
But I gotta find it.
A lot of my mates who've watched it have said just read the book as well, because the book is that book extended over a lot longer.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just I love that group.
I do too. Yeah, they've come a long way. They were wild as fuck back in the day, man. They were wild as fuck. And then they became some people that you needed. They were doing things for the rights of people and humanity type shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you got to think. I like where they came from, where they were at to where they ended,
Yeah, definitely. What a journey, man. What a journey.
They were great. They were great leaders of our times, I feel. De La Soul does the same type of things too. As I look back at Cypress Hill, Be Real, they do the same. Because these are folks that I've been on the road with. I feel like all musicians are they're kind of like your cousin. You know what I mean? They're not your cousin, but they're kind of like your music cousin, because you're always on the road together, around each other, or relate to the same things or whatever. And we being the little brothers of these other acts, we've learned so much,
Yeah.
And they've looked out for us too, So
Yeah, I hear a lot of stories like that, like people putting other people under their wings and stuff. It's a real community, man. It's a real community.
Because that's what you're supposed to do,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yo, it's Flip Tricks, aka the Big Dangler, aka Big Owl, representing High Focus, the 4 Owls. You're locked into the Crate 808 podcast. Remember to subscribe, review, and rate. Jeez.
When you look at stuff that you've dropped throughout the whole history of your career, just really interested to know what's like the verse or song everyone wants to talk to you about, man.
I don't really know.
No? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that question. There's so many songs.
Mm,
You know, there's the Plain Rap album too, you know, and I like
for sure.
the Plain Rap album for me, I felt like MC wise, rapping wise, I felt like we matured the most as far as, well, at that time it was just myself, Imani and Booty Brown, and looking at our lyrics from that record or Testing the Waters record that we did, I think we grown, and I was really proud of us at that time, you know, through what we were, how we were thinking, you know, it was really cool. And even looking at, you know, Fat Lips has always been a really good writer, even when he was a solo artist, before he joined 2 for 2 and we became Pharcyde, you know, he was always a really great writer. And I always tell him about these, you know, old things that he had. And The Loneliest Punk was a very good record too. A song that I like of his is The Story of Us.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And just kind of moving through. I think there's Misery is a song that I wrote that really had some really cool stuff for me as far as, you know, where I was at. And then there was an album that me and Fat Lip did with Spike Jonze's brother, Squeaky Clean.
Squeaky Clean, yeah.
We did like 13 songs with him that he hadn't even put out yet. He still has it, but there's a song called Fuck 'Em that's really good, and it was like during like some political times back in the days, you know. So it's a lot of stuff. We've so when people ask what about this, you know, what lyric, I'm like, shit, I got a whole lot of them, you know.
Yeah, fair
like,
enough.
Pull
man,
up a
fair
chair,
enough.
buddy.
So, Trey, man, we're going to have a few 90s questions I ask all the artists who come on. First of all, I know this may send you running a little bit, but could you tell me your favourite 5 MCs?
Oh, man. Currently, I'll have to start off with, he's not necessarily an MC, but Saul Williams, I have to put him up there first.
Yeah.
Because he is able to communicate things that are an injustice that need to be talked about in life that sometimes I cannot communicate myself. So I put him up there, and then I have to go with Black Thought because of his complete consistency of just dopeness. Even when he was on one of our records, you know, he's just super consistent, and he just, you know, and he touches upon topics that's necessary that we need to hear as well. An up and coming MC is Austin Antoine, of which I have his baseball cap on right now. But he
trademark too, bro.
Yeah, trademark. That's right. So he's somebody that, you know, is a MC that's up there for me. And K Natural, who is in my Bizarre Ride band, he's up there for me too, because he's really thorough, and he's like right next to me. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And there's I don't know how many that was. That's 4.
I think you're at 4, but yeah, man.
But let me see if I can think of another one. I guess KRS-One, you know, across the board, you know, because I when you ask that, there's different rooms or genre, there's different stages of time that I have my favorites about, you know what I mean? So like, that's why it's kind of a complex question, but I wanted to give you the ones that I did because of what they say and do, you know. J. Cole is dope. And I think we'll probably get some more like really dope stuff out of him. It's so many, like Earth Gang is dope. Like there's I can go on forever, bro. You know, it really depends, man. Like, as a DJ, I come across, man, there's just too many, bro. That's a great question, and it makes me confused because I have so many.
Yeah, man. It gives me nice insight into your kind of soul, if you know what I mean. Like what touches you more than others, and it's just really interesting to me when someone lists them. So I like those, man.
Well, I mean, like I'm like Lil Wayne is dope, and and like Lil Wayne's dope as a writer, and sometimes it's not about the content, but how it's the parts, the metaphors and things like that. Eminem is a dope writer. Sometimes it's not the content, but it's the parts. You know what I'm saying? And he's always been. Oh, his last album was just, oh my God, super dope.
Yeah.
And Royce the 5'9", and just. It just keeps going. I'm really proud on every level. On the political level of hip hop, there's someone champion for that. On the raunchy one, there's somebody champion for that. The booty twerk, the booty twerk side, is somebody for that.
There's always
we need it all, dude. This candy store is fucking. We're about to have a sugar rush.
Yes, man.
Yes. But I feel like it's all healthy for us, because let's say like the things that we might look at as a negative is just showing us to something to look at a positive. There's just so much to it, so I can't really judge any of it. I just listen to it for what it is, because it's like a barometer. It's like a canary in the coal mine. You know what I mean? If there's no oxygen, this shit's dead. Air is made up of so many different things for us to live and survive and breathe. Everything is breathing. It's alive.
I love it. I love that, man.
Does that explain it to you for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I feel there's your enthusiasm bubbled up there, which is the best thing about this whole thing is hearing that enthusiasm that you can't even get around to list them, and that's the beauty of this, man.
Yeah.
Two last questions then before you do leave us. One, we have a Spotify playlist where we talk about the Wu a lot.
Okay.
And obviously they've had so much music out over the past in solo efforts and album efforts. Are there any Wu-Tang like kind of cuts that you think are just a little bit slept on or deserve a little bit more love? Do you have any that you could recommend that I put on that playlist?
Man, I like Shame.
Okay.
I like Shame. I like Method.
I've not heard Shame in so long.
Yeah, Method Man, the MET. I just like them for different reasons. I haven't really. I like Ghostface. I like how Ghostface is. Because he's just so on some other shit about like rap. And so I haven't really broken down the Wu like I need to, but I've seen things that the Wu does that's really amazing to me, like the GZA's program that he has. I know I'm jumping off the subject a little bit, but GZA has an amazing science program, and you would never think that hip hop would do that.
Yeah,
and it's fucking brilliant. And, it gives you a different look at a person, or just watch what RZA does. RZA was a part of this karate flick called Ong Bak. You know what I mean? Just just to see where the Wu span from, or even watching the Wu-Tang series on Hulu. These are all parts of looking into a thing. So I would say that I've seen Wu-Tang on a different scope than in their albums and their lyrics and stuff like that, but watching them as the Wu itself, as a big brand. So I'm gonna need a little bit more time to just dive in, because you get at things late. Sometimes you get things like you were saying, the record came out, and our record came out in '92, and you only got into it down the line. So Fat Lip is one that was super Wu-Tang, so he would know lyric for lyric and all of that stuff. He really dives in. So that's a very good question for him. You know what I mean?
Okay, man, wicked. Well, thank you, Trey.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for all your time. Thank you for just giving us an insight into this amazing, beautiful journey, man, that you've been on. And to see, there's so much I've taken away from this conversation, just not on a hip hop level, but just on a human level. So
yeah, man,
I really appreciate your time, man.
Well, thank you, man.
Before you do leave us, though, man, what's the last great piece of music you heard? Could be old, could be new, just the last great piece.
Let's see. I'll say there's a singer called Sir, S-I-R. And I've there was a time where I kind of gave up on music a little bit, thinking that it's becoming colorless, and until I heard Sir, and I heard another one called Her, H-E-R. There's so much stuff that's out right now, or Kendrick Lamar even. You know what I mean? That Kendrick Lamar has a song on his record that I would just play it in loop, and I would sit in the back of the tour in the back of the tour van, just in tears, just looking out the back window.
Which one was that?
It's the one where sing a song about me or something. About me, I forgot. When the sun goes down and something turn around.
Yeah.
Will they sing a song about me?
Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. That's the track.
Bro.
It's from Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes, bro. I just kept looping that shit, and I was just like, wow. Oh
yeah,
man, I guess he would be that MC that was supposed to be up there though in my top 5.
Big call, but I love it. I love Kendrick's up there for me as well, man.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about Sir there. Have you heard John Redcorn by Sir? That's my Sir.
I'll check it out. Look, I'm about to jump on my DJ equipment right now and just like listen.
Yeah, man, get on it, man. That's such a banger.
I sit around and I make, I build crates, my DJ crates, or I make my Spotify playlists, and I share them out,
Sweet,
from time to time, and just in doing that, I'm like kind of listening to the different neighborhoods through music, listening to the different parts of the world through music and their experiences, and how does that compare with mine? And I live in a total different experience than I did back in the day, and I can't, you know what I mean? Like, music is awesome.
That's sick, man. Well, Trey, man, thank you for this chat.
Yeah, man,
thank you
no
for
problem.
enlightening us.
Yep.
And yeah, man, you just keep going, doing your thing. I'm looking forward to seeing where your journey takes you next, man, and to see that next thing coming out.
All right, man.
Have you got anything to plug? Or anything? Or
yeah, well, follow my Instagram right now is at Slimkid3, and then I have another Instagram. It's just for more adult things, and it's called Adult Things 333 for those that are in that world of life.
Okay.
It all that concept is going into a bigger thing that I'm working on it right now, and like living through a lot of things about like sex and sexuality, and like no slut shaming type of thing, and just like kind of like trying to put this thing that the world, or not the world, but the United States has put on folks about their sexuality, and it should be open and free, and it's just really stupid. And I kind of want us all to grow up. But in doing that, I'm like kind of like diving into understanding what people think about it, how they think about it. Everybody thinks differently. What it means to you and your person means something completely different to, we don't have to live under these religious things or whatever that has been blanketed across, or how they utilize this sex as a tool for power, and, and just money and control and the whole shit. And it's just kind of like just tearing that building down for myself and my view of things. And, pleasure and all of that shit is a right. You can do whatever you can do, whatever the fuck you want. You can do who you want. It's just that I live my own life. And I try not to allow people to box me in. And if people have a problem with that, just go back to my first album cover to understand that we really don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Man, what a way to end it, man. What a way to end it. Thank you again, man. That's fascinating. Really, really fascinating. It sounds like a podcast series, man. You should do that. That definitely sounds amazing.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, best of luck to you, man. We love you. We love all your work. Thank you for jumping on.
Indeed.
And hopefully we catch you on the flip side, man. Hopefully.
All right, man. Well, take care, bro. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Trey. Take care, man.
All right, now. Peace now.
Peace.
Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Master Ace. Brooklyn, New York, Crooklyn Dodgers, all that. You're checking out the Crate 808 podcast. Make sure you tune in every time.
Well, the Pharcyde, Slimkid3 in the house, just breaking down those iconic music videos, those amazing albums, the group itself. Wow, yeah, man, spiritual, deep, soul. Wow, man, I went through a lot. I feel a bit drained after that chat. Just a lot of things to think about now coming away from that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do go out there, spread the word. Please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you use. Yes, please rate, review, tell your mum, tell a friend, tell your friend, tell a friend. You know what I mean? Just spread the word, man. Spread the word for us. I would love that. And yeah, man, before I forget, Grindhouse Music. Big yourself up, man. Did the music to this podcast, does the music for all our shit. If you want any of that good stuff, please go check him out as well. Check everything out on crate808.com. You can check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube, all that good stuff. And yeah, all it leaves me to say is, man, we'll be coming again with some more interviews, some more debates, and maybe a few shake-ups, man. I'm thinking of a few shake-ups. But yeah, we shall see where we go on this journey that is Crate 808. Now go out there, play some Pharcyde, enjoy yourself, stay safe, and yeah, just lock it in for our next episode, which will be coming soon. Take it easy, peeps. Brat, peace.